Hi, I'm William Malik with Trend Micro. Today we're going to be talking about information security models. The scientist Dr. Ivan Pavlov said, if you want new ideas, read old books. So I'd like to take us back to the beginning of computer networking and remind us of a standard that set up the OSI 7-layer reference model. I'm sure at some point in your careers in IT, you probably came across the model that had the physical layer and then the data link layer on the way up to the application layer. Well, that 7-layer model is actually defined in a standard that goes under the name ISO 7498-1. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that there is a companion standard, 7498-2, that shows how the 5 key information security primitives might be applied against that model. Now, the standard does not say precisely which way they should be applied. You have choice. You have the ability to design what you need, remembering that the higher the layer at which you put these functions, the greater the possibility that something beneath them can get in the way or in some way disturb what's going on. But the important point is these 5 functions need to be considered whenever you're doing computer networking. So what are they? Well, the first one is authentication. How can you prove you are who you say you are when you talk to a computer? Well, typically we say it's something you know, something you have, or something you are, or in the case of some of us, something you forgot, something you lost, or something you used to look like back a few decades ago. But the important point is that you need to prove you are who you say you are, and passwords we now know are just not adequate. Use multi-factor authentication. The second security function that we're concerned about is authorization. In other words, now that we know who you are, what can you do? And that way we use access control lists. For some purposes, role-based authentication is adequate, but for most complex business environments, you need something a little more specific and granular than role-based will give you. The third function is data integrity. How do you know that the information you're seeing is correct and unchanged from when it was created? Data confidentiality asks, how can you make sure that nobody can see this information other than people who are supposed to, or processes that must have access to it? And finally, the concept of non-repudiation, which actually has 2 flavors. The first flavor is, if I send you a message, I can't deny having been the author. And the second is, if I send you a message, you can't deny having received it. Both of these require some kind of public key crypto system to be implemented. The important point is, think about how those 5 functions are occurring to you as you go about your daily life. When you're using an app, what measures has it made sure that you are in fact who you say you are? What steps has it taken to keep your data confidential, to give you the access to the functions you need and nothing else? To make sure that your score in the game hasn't been tampered with since the last time you played. And if you're involved in a transaction with folks, how do you make sure that they got the message and that they know that it was you who truly sent it? Well, those 5 key functions underlie networked communications security. So I'm inviting you this Cybersecurity Awareness Month to think about the ways in which this model and other models can help you improve the security of your environment, not just at work, but in your everyday life as well. Thanks very much. This is William Malik with Trend Micro.